30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds.
In your face, all over the place.
We're online 24/7. 24/7.
You're listening to the hottest internet station.
From beautiful Saline in southeastern Michigan.
Around the world at sunskyMysteries.com.
This is the 2009 Top 10 Webcam in the World winner. This is FEPV.
Belief is a personal point of view. You may believe in your version of God, seeing into the future, using remote viewers, or what have you. To dismiss another point of view invites nothing short of being abandoned yourself when you wish your point of view to be listened to. Placing dismissal or hatred toward another as a point of view is worthless in the view of the universe and your fellow beings in it. Be patient. Be in a state of learning, and you will be rewarded. What follows is my point of view. Take it for what that is worth to you. As we go through this time in the existence of mankind, we are once again entering the times of evil. It is around us, I am convinced, very real, and it means to destroy us all. I want to make it very clear. I am on the side of good, of freedom, of respect, when respect is given. Well, good evening, everybody. Let me kill the really spooky music. There we go. You know, it occurs to me that looking at these clowns in the media that are all up in arms with their panties in a dreadful knot over the Herman Cain deal, you know, where Politico ran a story insinuating some type of sexual problems with Cain. Oh, the vision of it all. Now, they can't seem to understand what's going on with their massive fail to take him out. What's going on, they wonder. Oh man, they're getting accused of racism for pulling this stunt. This stunt, by the way, that the former editor of the Washington Post said he would have fired all of these reporters over. Oh, the spectacle of it all. Let me help in my small little way. You see, we conservatives, we're not circling around Cain. We're not protecting him. We're not in support of Herman Cain. It is because we have all had it with your tactics in the media. We have had a bellyful of people like these media people, these people in the news industry. They are the people that elevated Bill Clinton to superstar status. We've had it with you looking the other way during Tawana Brawley. We've had it with you and the Duke lacrosse fiasco. We've had it with you trying to cover up for John Edwards. We've had it with you lionizing Ted Kennedy and Mr. Waitress Sandwich himself, Chris Dodd. We've had it with you holding up as national heroes people that are unfit to be in public life. We've had it with you actually covering up crimes, obfuscations by public officials. We've had it with you letting this country go to crap while you sit there on your stupid little studio stools and pretend there is nothing wrong. We've had it with you actively covering up the attempt of an actual revolution in this country like it's a great thing to do. It isn't, and you media high and mighty clowns, you idiots, are committing treason against the United States of America by not doing anything whatsoever as the Fourth Estate. You all make me sick to my stomach. Good God Almighty. Oh, wait. We're not allowed to say good God Almighty on the air anymore. That's why we are, in fact, surrounded by idiots.
Report suspicious activity to your local police or sheriff.
You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery.
A new world order.
A new world order.
The need for a new world order.
We needed a new world order. The decline of the dollar is actually desirable.
Revolt! And revolt! And revolt! And revolt! Revolt! Revolt for America!
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple. If you and I have the courage to tell our elected officials that we want our national policy based on what we know in our hearts is morally right, we cannot buy our security, our freedom from the...
Okay, we had a report that some people might not actually be seeing me right now, even though our server says my lovely face is being broadcast as I speak. Hopefully that has been repaired. Let me talk to the production staff for just a moment. Hold on, I'll be right with you. I've calmed down now. Taking a couple of deep breaths, everything's okay. I've got the spooky blue light on my hands. It's great. Alrighty, I'm back. I'm checking the chat room again. There we go. Alrighty, everything appears to be up and functioning now. I don't know what the problem was a few moments ago, but apparently everything is okay. You see, these people in the media, they don't like me talking about them like that. So they may have killed the video. That's the way they are. Well, we got a lot of pretty good stories for you tonight. I'm going to get to them in just a moment. But I have been asked by several people, what is up with our corporate logo? This right here. This, my friends, is in fact the Naked Lady ashtray. That is the symbol of our company, Celine Entertainment Television, and surrounded by idiots, oddly enough. Hang on while I make an adjustment to one of our studio monitors. This is the Naked Lady ashtray. In order to understand what this show, what all of this is about for me, you have to understand the story of this ashtray. You have to go back 70 years to a time when a little girl was growing up, just like little girls for eons before her and eons after her, growing up and learning to be a grown-up, enjoying her childhood, going to school and learning. Then one day, evil came to where she lived, in the form of the Nazis, because she lived just a little bit south of Paris, France. And as the Nazis came in and began taking over her country and killing people, her family decided to get out and to take the little girl with them. So they got on a train in the middle of the night, and that little girl had this Naked Lady ashtray with her. We don't know, all these years into the future, whether or not that was the only thing she had with her. It may very well have been. But that train sped through the night toward the coast. And as it went through the night over the tracks, can you imagine being the engineer of that train with that engine opened up all the way? Pulling on that whistle. And that's when the Nazis began shooting at that train. And the planes began strafing and dropping bombs on that train, and people were dying. But that train made it to the coast, and that little girl with this ashtray got on a ship and came to America. And the first thing she saw was a Statue of Liberty here in America. Freedom. The chance to choose what you want to do, how you want to do it, and where you want to do it. That little girl grew up, and she is now my mother-in-law. And that is why this is our corporate symbol, because that is what we stand for. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I have returned. I have actually regained my composure. You know, no matter how many times you practice something like that, and that's completely memorized, you just simply can't get through it without breaking down. And I apologize to the audience, but that's the way it is. Now, we've got some very interesting stories for you tonight. We've got a few things about people's personalities and how people interact with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to bring up our web browser so that we can get right to it. And hopefully everything is going okay on the stream. I am sure I'll hear about it if it is not. So here we go. We are going to go to our first web page, and let me bring up the screen. There we go. Now you can see the screen, and you can see what we're going to be talking about here. This is, in fact, bullying in the workplace, and apparently it's a pretty big problem. This article is from, let's see, Fox Business. And it is written by Kate Rogers. We actually have a couple of stories by Kate. This one is from June of 2011, but it's still pretty timely because this kind of stuff never goes away. Let me zoom in on the screen a little bit. Control plus for those of you, the viewing audience, that wish to zoom in on your own screen. Control plus. There we go. Okay. Americans have been facing bullying long after they left the playground, with a startling 35% of adults either being bullied or currently experiencing bullying at work. Now, let me tell you something. Bullying doesn't always happen at work. It happens in all aspects of our lives. If you're on an association or you volunteer for a group, there will always, not always, but a lot of times, be those one or two bullies in the group that decide to push their weight around and try to bully other people. And it doesn't have to be done physically. There's verbal bullying, threats, things like that. A lot of us have experienced it in our personal lives and at the workplace. Let's go back to the article here. Workplace bullying is defined by the Workplace Bullying Institute. It's got to be bad if they actually have an institute about it. is repeated health-harming mistreatment of one or more persons by one or more perpetrators, includes verbal abuse, offensive conduct, and behaviors, including nonverbal, that are threatening and or humiliating or intimidating and interfere with work getting done. Let me adjust the screen here a little bit so that you can see what is going on. These activities, they're actually serious enough to have physical side effects. It can cause heart disease. It can cause post-traumatic stress disorder. And now people are finally going to do something about it. A guy by the name of, you can see his name right here by the pointer, Gary Name, I guess his name is, Niam maybe. He's a national director of the Healthy Workplace Campaign, and he started working for these anti-bullying laws back in 2003. He's got a healthy workplace bill that has been introduced in 21 states, with New York being the closest state to passing the law. I imagine by that time it's probably either has passed or been abandoned, since this article was written in July, but a lot of it is still pertinent. The problem with this particular bill, the way they have a lot of them written, is that it is very, very light on the employer. In other words, it's a little slap on the wrist. Basically, all you need is an apology, and off everybody goes, and the perpetrator doesn't get fired, and it calms down for a little bit. Then it builds up again after a while until you get the bullying all back again. And then complaints have to be made and things like that. Now, a little bit of production note here, where one of our production crew, they're in a rather remote location, and they're having problems with their internet tonight. I certainly hope that it is going to get better for them. Yesterday, I don't know if you know this, but there was an entire series of cascading power failures on the west coast of the United States. I believe, and this is my own personal opinion, that this was caused by the intense solar X-ray storms that we've been having over the past few days. Because remember, the west coast, they basically have the Pacific Ocean reflecting all this stuff off of them, just blasting them in the face as the sun goes down. So hopefully that won't happen again, and I hope everybody on the west coast that has been affected by this is doing okay. I certainly do hope that. Now, getting back to this article, how do you like that? I actually remember to turn it onto the camera when I was talking to you guys. For once, something actually worked. For workers, the New York bill provides an avenue of legal action against health-harming cruelty at work. And you know, I know people that have had to go through this, and I've actually worked with people that have been bullies, but being a rather strong, strapping young man, not to mention debonair and handsome, I was able to circumvent the effects of that by, well, having a conversation with the gentleman that was doing the bullying. And it never happened again. At any rate, this workplace bullying stuff, this is actually does relate to some of the subjects that we talk about on the show. And that leads us to our next story, which is this. Being a jerk at work could pay off. I love that. Being a jerk at work could pay off. Apparently, let me zoom in on the screen for you guys, which of course isn't going to want to cooperate, so I'll just do it manually. There we go. Apparently, if you're a guy in the workplace and you are a jerk, you make more money than everybody else does. Well, that's insane. Apparently I'm going to have to change my modus operandi from being a nice guy to being a jerk. Apparently it works. Let me see. Let me get my show notes back up here on the old screen. There we go. There was a report. This also, by the way, my bad. This was also written by Kate Rogers, the young lady who wrote the previous article that I read. Why being a jerk at the office can pay off. There's one in every workplace, the office jerk. And according to a new study, that jerk is probably making more money than you if it's a male. The theory that men with low agreeability out-earn their nicer counterparts has been proven. It's been proven in 4 different studies. People who perceive themselves to be less agreeable earn an average of 18% more than their more agreeable coworkers. You know, I'm thinking, hold on a second. I think that's actually true, because we got one cat that acts like a jerk that's on our production staff. And that cat gets more cat food than the rest of the cats. So apparently being a jerk does pay off. Yeah, I'm talking to you down there, camera cat. So, at any rate, being a jerk at work pays off. But let's say we're in a survival situation. The crapola has hit the fan, or the shit has hit the fan, depending on how you want to say it. It's, well, it's not after 8 o'clock, so I'm not supposed to say that, but what the heck. Hopefully the FCC or the rest of the media isn't watching right now. When the crap hits the fan, the jerks are the first ones that are going to get culled from the herd. Sadly, these people are probably not going to realize what they're doing to themselves, just simply because it's so ingrained in their personality and in their spirit, they simply can't help but be a jerk. So, before the world ends as we know it, or the next catastrophe happens, or we all lose our electricity instead of just the west coast of the United States, before that happens, it might be a good idea to try to help out your local office jerk, who may perceive your actions as being the office bully. So, if you don't do it right, you're both going to wind up sitting at home on the couch wondering what in the heck just happened. And hopefully by then you'll be friends so you can spend time looking for jobs together. So don't be a jerk, and don't be a bully. I guess that's the lessons that we can get from this. So let us go on to the next story. Let me scroll down on the screen here. Oh, this is a good one. This is one of my favorites. This is actually a political story that is essentially old news, because we've seen it time and time and time again. We've seen it for many years now. They're all doing it. And quite frankly, it's starting to get me pissed off, because they're not cooperating with each other. Let me show you what I mean. Hold on a second. Let me close that one there, and close that one there, and we'll go over here to the bookmarks. This is a brand new browser I have here, by the way, and here we go. We're going to go help and go ahead and bring up this web page here for you to see. I'm going to wait for this to come up. I don't even remember the source for this. There we go. It helps if you have the screen up. There we go. This is the Washington Examiner. Let's go down here. I'm still learning my way around this new browser, but apparently it's supposed to be really good and not take up a lot of resources and actually work with everything. Here we go. Now, we've seen this before. Anybody that's over, say, the age of 13 and aware of the world has seen this before. Headline of this story, this is written by Philip Klein, the senior editorial writer over there at the Washington Examiner. White House rejects a subpoena request for Solyndra documents. Now, I don't know if everybody watching knows what this is about, but here's the deal. Here's the theory. This is the theory. I'm not saying this is fact. And as always, this show is presented for entertainment purposes only. No wagering. Because I found out a lot of people have been wagering out there in Las Vegas about whether or not I'm going to completely lose it one night on the show and just like fall over with a heart attack. At any rate, if, by the way, if we have the Skype lines open, if somebody wants to call in via Skype about one of the stories we're talking about, you go ahead and become a friend of the show. A Skype contact, they call it, BillZam1, BillZam the number 1. And we'll accept your contact, and you can be on the show, or you may already be a contact of the show. If you want to call in, that's fine. Remember to turn down the volume of the stream that you're watching. At any rate, the Solyndra deal. Here's the way this works in Washington, D.C., and this is what we need to get rid of. You got a guy with an idea, and you got another guy that happens to be elected to something. The guy with the idea says, hey, if you give me some money, loan me some money, give me the money, and what I'll do is I'll start this business, and we'll, make it seem like it's a really big up-and-coming type of business. And then what I'll do is under the table, I'll slip you some of that money back for your next campaign. And then we'll be sitting pretty. Well, in this particular instance, it didn't work out too well. Solyndra, that was loaned, what was it, $535 million. These clowns got loaned $535 million and then went bankrupt. The owner, of course, escaped unscathed and happens to be a large donor of the president for his re-election. Who'd have thunk it? So let's go back here and take a look at this article. Go back to the screen. There we go. Okay, Solyndra. The president's attorney sent an attorney to the congressional investigators that are investigating this little issue on Friday, saying that, nah, we're not going to cooperate with you. We're not going to send you any documents or anything else that you want because, well, we're just not going to do it because we don't like you, apparently. Now, the guy at the head of the committee, the committee chairman, what is this, the completely idiotic and stupid committee? No, it's not the idiotic and stupid committee. Oh, it's the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and this is led by Mr. Fred Upton, a Republican from Michigan. Now, before we go any further, Fred Upton is one of the representatives here in the fine state of Michigan where I live. Fortunately, he's not my representative because this guy is a clown, or a clown, depending on how you want to say it. He is the one that's responsible, and it doesn't matter if you agree with this or not, it's just plain wrong. He's the one responsible for outlawing regular light bulbs. That was his deal. He's the one that came up with it, and he's the one that forced it through, so that we all have to buy CFLs, indoors and out, apparently. He may have backed off on that now because he was like begging for his job back. Please reelect me. I won't do it again. I promise. So apparently that's what he did, and he got his job back, and as a reward, they gave him the chairmanship of the House Energy Commission. So old Fred there in Washington, D.C., Mr. Take the Light Bulbs Away from Everybody. If you want to see how a CFL bulb works outside, take a CFL bulb, put it in your freezer for about a half an hour, then take it out and turn it on, being for a big surprise like no light. We're going to be living in the dark is what's going to be happening. Okay. Fred Upton says, let me zoom in on this a little bit more so you guys can see this here. We'll go up to 150%. There, oh my, look at that. That looks so pretty. Now you guys can see it. What the heck is this crap down at the bottom of the screen? Yeah, this new browser I got's great, except it puts ads up on the screen. That's perfect. That's just what we want. Anyways, Fred Upton says about this subpoena being not accepted by the White House. We have been reasonable in every step of the way in this investigation, and it is a shame that the Obama administration and House Democrats continue to put up partisan roadblocks to hide the truth from the taxpayers. Solyndra was a jobs program gone bad, and we must learn lessons of Solyndra as we work to turn our economy around and put folks back to work. Our judicious and methodical work over the past 8 months has garnered tens of thousands of pages of documents from the Department of Energy and OMB that have proven that we are on the right track. Now we need to know the White House's role in the Solyndra debacle. That was pretty cool how I read that, huh? The Solyndra debacle. Well, I got a better idea. Why the hell don't you find out how those guns got down into Mexico to start shooting our customs personnel? Maybe that'd be a little bit of a better thing that you could do. Well, they use gasoline in the patrol vehicles, and that's energy, so I think Fred Upton could find a way to make that part of his purview somehow, since all of them are basically ignoring the Constitution now. He can just make up his own rules as he goes along like the rest of them. So, there you go. The White House says they're not going to cooperate in any way, shape, or form with the committee there, and you guys can go blow me. So they didn't like that. That's too bad. Anyways, on to bigger and better things. The reason why most of you are probably here, I don't even know how many people are watching. I know that our looks like our production staff is completely lost power or something. So I might be sitting here talking to myself, and there might be a million of you watching. Speaking of which, should have gotten to this at the top of the show. But I'm sure that many of you noticed that there have been some problems with the website over the past few days since this past Tuesday. That is because, like a complete and utter person that seems incapable of making correct decisions at this point. Our production staff has come back, flashing pictures of Planet X at me. Yeah, this next story sort of has something to do with it, and so does what I'm talking about right now. You may have noticed we had a few problems. Let me make sure. Yep, I got the camera on, so you're not looking at the screen this time. We had a few problems with the website crashing. Well, that's because we had pretty much the most popular radio guest in the world on our show, our premiere show on Tuesday, because, well, he's a friend of the show, as it turns out, and his name is Cliff High, and he proceeded to drop the old WebBot report, bombshell after bombshell. He was like carpet bombing the audience with his bombshells during the show. It was quite entertaining, dumbfounding. He gave me a homework assignment. He's coming back in 4 weeks in December. So, well, we started having problems with the website, so I called up my hosting company and I said, dudes, what's up? My website's not working right. The guy looked at it and he goes, well, that's because you got a problem. You got too many visitors. I said, well, I'm looking right here at my stat counter thing, right here on the computer screen, on this laptop right here. Looking at my stat counter thing, it says we've only had 2,000 visitors today. And he said, well, Mr. Zam, you may want to get yourself a different visitor counter because in the past 12 hours you've had 200,050 visitors. And I said, well, what? And he said, well, there's a lot of people going to your website and you've crashed the server. So now you got a decision to make. You can either turn off the website or we can move you to a dedicated IP address server. And that's a dedicated address where I'm not sharing the bandwidth of the computer with anybody. They put me on a special computer. That, of course, cost a few $100s to pony up, so I ponied up the few $100s, and we switched over to the dedicated server, and now everything is working a lot more smoothly, except for our production staff, who seem to have dropped offline once again due to the X-ray storms coming off the sun. Anyways, everything is back up to snuff here on the website, so there shouldn't be any more drop-offs or anything else. However, it keeps getting better and better. We do the videos here through live stream. You can see their bug. Where the heck would it be for you? I think it'll be up here for you guys, or it could be up here. I don't know. It's up in the corner. It says live stream. Well, they were kind of having problems streaming the archived video to people because, well, at one point we had almost 1,000 people watching it at one time, or so their counter said. And there may have been even more people downloading it off of the website. So what we've done is I've done something I don't like to do. I've started uploading the archive videos to YouTube. That way YouTube can share in the pain. Since I don't like YouTube anyways, I figure what the hell, why not? Let's get them sharing in the pain. So we've got everything going again. And next week, next Tuesday at 7 p.m., for 2 fabulous hours, we will be having a retired military person who is going to remain nameless, I believe, who is knows all about staying alive in dire circumstances. He's going to teach us about survival. Survival in what we call the aftertime, survival when the poop hits the fan, and things like that. So he's going to be on the show, and it's going to be a wondrous time for everybody as we talk about gloom and doom. In fact, hold on a second. I think I've got we're getting up to the doom part of the show, so I've got to play the doom video that we have. Hold on one second. There we go. You guys are going to love this. This is going to be great. I love this part. I love this part of the show when I can pretend I have no idea what I'm doing, like right now. Okay, here we go. We're going to open up, going to do this, and we're going to go over here, and we are going to go here. Okay, here comes your doom. There we go. Let's go ahead.
Fletcher's on. Red alert.
Hey, and look at that. It's not playing. Isn't that great? This is perfect. How could this be any better? Well, there you go. That didn't work. I love it when special effects don't work. I'm going to blame it on sunspots. At any rate, let's go back over here and go down here and call up our browser again, and we are going to go over here to the bookmarks, and we are going to go here. Oh, you guys are going to love this one. This one is, you conspiracy folks out there, you're going to love this particular story right here. The title of this story is Extraterrestrial War in the 1930s, Linked to First People, Humanity's True Ancestors. This is better than having the National Enquirer. And there's some guy talking about it right there on a video. This is great. Okay. Who are we humans? All right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh because I know a lot of people, they take this stuff very seriously. And there you go. Now you can see the shot there, and prove that we humans came from someplace else. To have a picture of the Earth over here on the other side of the screen. Let me read you the article here. Who are we as humans? Well, we got 2 legs. We got 2 feet, 2 arms, 12 toes, and 15 fingers, I believe. Anyways, who are we as humans? What is it that represents the origin of our species? You may think that such questions are irrelevant to daily living. Oh, but I'm sure this article is going to tell us that, well, just going to the bathroom. We got to think about who we are as human beings. Because like our caller the other night that turned his urine into a philosopher's stone, we got to think about who we are. How does this question, related to such activities as going to work, getting paid, or picking up the kids from school, or having a beer with our friends? Well, speaking of beer, hold on a second. There we go. That's a lot better for me. Beer with our friends while watching a hockey game. But as it happens, this question may be more important to us than you think. Wow. Let's find out why. Let's go back over here. I am, let's see here. I was drinking beer on camera, but I had the server set up to do the screen. There have been many wars that have been executed and perpetrated because of our condition of self to behave as patriots in the face of enemies. We also go about our daily lives based upon implicit views on legitimacy of authority that in turn has been the products of self-organized religions and other hierarchically controlled command belief structures. The multifaceted oppression that we observe on the news from time to time spawns protests like Occupy Wall Street are the fruits of evolutionary progress that we have been taught to accept as a species. If we as humans accept the ideas from Christianity and other such organized religions that we are created by some kind of supernatural God, then we put our faith in God will protect us and blah, 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 blah. All right, that's enough of that story. I don't know how that one's going to turn out, but I don't think I want to be there when it does. So let's go on to the next story, and we're about done with the show anyways. Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on here. I'm getting something here in my brain. Hold on. I got some information coming in. I'm scrolling down the screen to find my this part of the script. Hold on, I got something coming in here. Galactic Command takes out another reptilian base beneath Tinker Air Force Base. I just got this through the old implant in my head here, being broadcast by Galactic Command. Apparently, that wasn't a normal earthquake that we felt out there in Oklahoma. A whole series of earthquakes. It was caused by the Galactic Command taking out the reptilians who are trying to get control of the United States nuclear weapons and our launch system during increasing tensions between Israel and Iran. And they were planning on triggering a nuclear war. Good job, Galactic Command. I don't know what that meant. It was in the script, so I figured I had to read it. Let's see here. We're going to go up here. And okay, this is, what the heck? Okay, we've been on the air for about an hour, so this is going to be the last story. I'm going to save a couple of them for tomorrow night. This story is really weird because some of it is being sanitized from the internet. Some of it's there, some of it isn't there, some of it isn't there, some of it is there. I came across this a couple of days ago. It was in an actual newspaper on the internet over there in Lovely, UK. And apparently now it's gone. But it's on other websites. Now it's moving towards conspiracy websites. So take that for what you will, but it was on mainstream websites. Here's how this goes, and there may be guys in black suits wearing sunglasses like mine coming to haul me away by the time I get done with the story, so take this with a grain of salt, please. Now, it seems that there was a young man up in, where was this? Elmendorf Richardson Air Force Base in Alaska. It's a rather large base. They do a lot of staging in and staging out at the base. You can see it on Google Earth. All you got to do is look up where they are, and the Google Earth will take you right to it, or Google Maps even. You can see the Air Force Base from there. It's Combined Forces, and it's part of NORTHCOM, Northern Command. They send troops all over the place, willy-nilly all over. At any rate, he apparently wrote an email to his mother and his family that said, I wish I had that Doom video working because that would have been great for this. He said, the end is coming. You better get out of town. And they all said, what? And he said, well, here's what's happening. They're bringing all the troops back from Iraq and Afghanistan with all their equipment, and they're building them up into huge levels. And what's going to happen is they're sending them down to the lower 48 states to do something down there. They're building up troops in the United States. Well, of course, his family apparently went into a blind panic over this. And his name, what the heck is his name? His name is related to the next part of the story. A U.S. Army specialist who was serving as a military policeman has been arrested in Alaska on suspicion of spying. How do you like that? What a coincidence. And as it turns out, it seems like it's the same kid that sent the email to his family. A specialist, William Colton Millay, 22. He was taken into custody at the Joint Base Elmdorf-Richardson on Friday following a joint espionage investigation by the FBI and Army counterintelligence agents. Army spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Bill Coppernall said, we do expect to prefer charges sometime this week, blah, blah, blah. Going to be tried in the military courts. Now, here's where the story gets weird. They went out of their way to say that this kid has nothing to do with WikiLeaks. What does that have to do with anything? This kid was in the Air Force. Bradley Manning was in the Army. He was a private. They weren't even in the same part of the country. What's up with that? And there's even more. According to the sources that I've seen, and this is why I'm not putting it up on the screen, because I haven't been able to corroborate this yet, so this is just a rumor. This is just the conspiracy part of the show to end off this episode. According to this, when the FBI and the TSA got there to arrest this young man, there was a standoff between the Air Force and the FBI and TSA. They came and said, we want that guy, and the commander said, I don't think so. Gentlemen, get out your guns. He's being held by the Army. They wouldn't let the FBI and TSA take this kid away. They said, he's being tried by the Army for spying, and we'll let you know if he actually did something wrong. And here's the part where it gets even weirder. Right after this, remember that 3-minute emergency broadcast test we're supposed to have on the 9th, about the same time that the asteroid is supposed to come flying by us. There's some news about that I'm trying to track down too, but I won't have that until tomorrow night. About the same time that all this is happening, and they're going to have the 3-minute test where they're going to take down the internet, the television, and the radio all at the same time and do a national broadcast test where they're going to tell you, this is not an emergency, this is only a test. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We will now return you back to your race towards communism. Well, anyways, right after all this happened, this email news came out, and they arrested this kid. They decided to make this test only 30 seconds, like a regular test. They can't get anything done in that 30 seconds, and apparently they've taken the internet right off the table. So that is pretty darned weird. I'm trying to find more information. The only thing I'm finding now is this story on conspiracy sites, whereas before it was on some mainstream news sites in Europe, but none in the United States. The United States, of course, our media being on the ball, hasn't covered this story at all, one way or the other. It seems to me if they're going to start doing stories about somebody's supposed sexual conduct, like 10 years ago, that apparently had no complaints or anything filed against it, nobody wants to talk about, now telling media, got nothing to do with nothing, why don't you go away? They're like hound dogs on that. They're like hound dogs chasing after a raccoon on that, but something like this, where it actually has to do with the safety of the citizens, they're not doing anything about. Go figure. Who'd have thunk it? Oh well. What can you say? I'm pretty much worn out, so I think we're going to end the show. It's been another hour episode. I think we did pretty good. Tomorrow night we're going to be talking about Chinese in space. Oh, I got to say that better. Chinese in space. Yeah, that was pretty good. Chinese in space. The Terminator has now come to life. And we're going to have a editorial by none other than Pat Buchanan that most of you have probably read by then. But what the heck, I'm going to tell you what I think about it, which should be pithy, on topic, and relatively humorous. So, my name is Bill Zam. As always, we've been brought to you by the Small Company Moving Guide. Everything you need for a smooth move. The smallcompanymovingguide.com has kindly sponsored the show. And as you're driving down the road, it's getting darker earlier, and it's getting lighter later. And that means it is going to be dark during the beginning of school hours. And that means there's going to be kids coming up to the crosswalks and to the traffic lights and everything, and there's not always going to be a crossing guard present. So what you need to do is you need to be careful when you're driving down the road, anywhere near schools or where children are about, like where people live. Make sure, pay attention to what's going on around you. Because if you hit a car, that's an accident. If you hit a child, that's a tragedy. And we, here at Surrounded by Idiots, prefer not to have any tragedies. My name is Bill Zam. Have a good evening. Arrivederci. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate you watching. The MP3 will be available in a little while. This will be up on YouTube sometime. And this will begin repeating in just a few moments. I like that. Repeating. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a nice evening. Go blue. Hail to the victors, leaders and the best. All that good stuff. Let's see you guys later. Have a good night.